Hey everybody, how's it going? Zach here. I have another video for all of you today. Hope you all are having an amazing weekend wherever you are, whoever you may be. Want to talk a little bit about Kanye West being booed on Saturday Night Live and harassed, bullied for wearing a Make America Great Again hat. Now, Kanye West, I've already spoken about him on this channel a little bit, but I do want to reiterate some of the talking points from previous videos. But Kanye West's stance on President Trump is no surprise for a lot of people. He's been very vocal about his support for Trump from the very beginning. I've gone to even a couple of Kanye concerts where he's blatantly just ranted about Trump. So his support for President Trump is something that's not new for a lot of people. But it looks like even on a platform like Saturday Night Live, which is no surprise, it being a more liberal casting network platform, for someone like Kanye West, the big takeaway from Saturday Night was the fact that he felt like he couldn't fully be himself. Kanye has, ultimately said things like 400 years of slavery being a choice, referring to the mental enslavement of the Democratic Party. He's talked about how the Democratic Party has just been set out to, enslave people, brainwash them, and make them feel like change is going to happen, yet nothing has happened. Kanye is essentially a walkaway, long before walkaway was even a real thing. But the problem here about liberal media, and especially a lot of Kanye supporters, I've seen this personally with people that I know, as well as a lot of people who aren't really as tuned into his politics. Kanye has gotten the stigma throughout his career as to being crazy. Someone who is turned up, someone who stands up and speaks his mind, which is probably why he has a lot of character parallels with President Trump and aligns himself with Trump as far as his belief is concerned. The thing about Kanye is that with liberal media, people who are fans of Kanye dismiss him as somebody who has a mental illness, therefore saying that he can get away with whatever it is he wants to talk about. And that in itself is extremely dismissive in my opinion. Again, the whole censorship thing, his SNL speech, being pro-Trump getting cut short, the fact that he was booed, Chris Rock, bullying him, all that kind of stuff on SNL is not really something I'm going to reiterate. But one thing that I do want to talk about is the idea that if you are a supporter of Trump, especially if you are somebody who is an A-lister and you are in the mainstream and you are somebody who is, like Kanye, in a position of extreme influence, big influence, that you're crazy. And that's where it's gotten to now. Kanye West probably does suffer from some form of mental illness, to some degree, like we all do. There's probably some mental setbacks. He might, suffer from anxiety or depression. I am not completely versed in what his diagnostic is, but it's the fact that people have always called him crazy throughout his career. Kanye West, in my opinion, has always been Kanye West. It's not like in the last few years he went crazy, and that's why a lot of progressives, a lot of his fans, are saying things like, well, Kanye's just crazy, so we shouldn't take to heart what he's been saying. Kanye has been saying this since day one. Take, for example, a long time ago, we're talking like, okay, I'm a Kanye fan, so Kanye fans are probably going to understand this and appreciate it. Take, for example, all the way back to his first album with College Dropout, when he released Jesus Walks. If I talk about God, my record won't get played. He was talking about the fact that he was being censored for his beliefs. He couldn't talk about the things that he wanted to talk about, and therefore was being silenced by the mainstream media around him for being himself. Kanye isn't crazy, he's just being himself. But that's something that I think even the biggest Kanye fans, supporters of Kanye, people who know about him, still don't completely have a handle on. And we dismiss him as being somebody who is crazy and mentally ill, so whatever he says must be okay. Therefore, loosening the integrity, the validity of the things that he says. And that in itself is exactly what the Democratic Party wants. So we've seen that, essentially throughout the years. This is not something that's anything new, but if it's coming from an A-lister like Kanye, it's something that's worth listening to for a second and something worth paying attention to, regardless of whether you like his music or not. Some people have found that his music is not necessarily to their liking, which is probably why they won't listen to Kanye regardless. But I do appreciate the fact that he went on Saturday Night Live on national TV and talked about his beliefs. He hasn't really withdrawn himself completely in the mainstream. Now, I'll be honest, I have not been plugged into Kanye's music in a while. I mean, I loved Yeezus and everything, but after that, I kind of phased out a little bit. I mean, I still did listen to his music, but I think that the fact that he is still in a position of influence, a position of power, and he has not allowed himself to be bought, bullied into saying things that he doesn't want to say is admirable. I think we could all learn something from Kanye in that regard. Now, again, you don't have to like him, you don't have to like his music, but he is using a platform like that to essentially reach a lot of people who have been feeling the same way. And that's something that I'll appreciate, and that's something that I do want to address and bring to the attention of my viewers. Again, I've been a Kanye fan for a while, and so it's nice to actually see him have a lot of beliefs that are somewhat aligned with the beliefs that I have. And for a lot of people, again, they'll just say, well, Kanye's crazy, and that's why he can get away with saying whatever he wants to say. Well, I think that that's ultimately dismissive, The fact that he is just a loud, outspoken celebrity in that field, in that regard, where typically that media platform is more liberal, more left-leaning, is huge. And, it may take some time for people to fully wrap their heads around it, but he's not crazy. And he's not somebody that really needs any further explanation as to why he's saying the things that he's saying. I mean, people go into all kinds of theories as to why Kanye did this and why he did that. Everything from every award show he's ever crashed to been outspoken about. He's just somebody that speaks his mind. And at the end of the day, his free speech is just as much relevant to him as anybody else, He's just wielding that, and he knows that he can. So that's all I'm going to say for today's video. Again, I just want to say that I'm appreciative of Kanye West doing that, and I hope that more people are walking away. I think that he is one of those few people that obviously has already done that as far as his actions is concerned, and I hope to see more people get up and talk the way that he has. So thank you so much for tuning into this video. I hope you guys are all having an amazing day wherever you are. Be sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you all soon in the next video. Take care.